children. So today I am going to discuss with you all a new topic from the lesson for shape and strength. So today's topic I am going to discuss is movement and locomotion. We all know that we can move our hands and legs according to our will. So what helps in this movement? Do you know, children? Exactly. It's the bones and the muscles which helps our movement and to move from one place to another. That is called locomotion. Okay. So if you tie a stick around your hand or around your elbow and you try to eat the food, or if you brush your teeth with that, you cannot do it properly. Right? Yes. So these all things are possible only with the bones and muscles. So there is a term you have to study in this lesson, that is joints. Joints are the places where two or more bones join together. These joints will help in the movement and many actions. There are different types of joints in our body. First one is ball and socket joint. Here one bone will be acting as a ball and the other bone will be acting as a socket. Socket means a saucer, a plate. So it can be freely movable and it is seen in the shoulder and the hip joint. And it is freely movable. You can move in all the directions. Okay, children? And here the ball of one bone will move into the socket of the another bone. The main peculiarity of this joint is that you can move in all the directions. Next one is the hinge joint. Hinge joint is seen in elbow and knee. It resembles like the hinge of the door. It can move only in one direction. See, suppose you can see that you only know that the elbow, you can move the elbow or the knee in only one direction. Only you can move the elbow and the knee. You cannot turn it or twist it and all. But whereas the shoulder bones, shoulder joints, you can rotate it. You can rotate like this in all the directions. So that is the difference between the ball and socket joint and the hinge joint. Next one is the pivot joint. The pivot joint, it is seen in the neck region and it can move forward, backward and in opposite directions, that is sideways. So these are the joints you have to study from this lesson. Now what happens, children, if there is no skeleton? In the previous class we learned that skeleton helps us to give the support and shape to our body. So just imagine, children, if there is no skeletal system in our body, what happens? Our body will be shapeless. It will be just like a clothes lying on the floor. And there will be nothing to protect our internal organs like heart, brain, etc. So that is why the skeletal system is very important. Next one is about bones. Children, have you heard about bone fracture? I think almost all have heard about it. How does it occur? Yes, due to some accidents or due to the carelessness in walking, jumping, running and all. So what is this bone fracture? It's the breaking of the bones or the appearance of fissures. Fissures means cracks in the bones. It is called bone fracture. In some cases, there will be change in the position of the bone, and that is called as dislocation. So what are the symptoms of this bone fracture? There will be difficulty in moving at the injured part, there will be pain at the injured part, there will be swelling around the injured part, right? Yes, and there will be slightly bending at the site of the injured part, and there will be some changes. If there is dislocation, that is change in the position of the bone happens, there will be a structural change with respect to the similar bones. So there will be a change in the structure. So this all are the symptoms of a bone fracture. So there are different types of bone fractures. In simple fracture, the bone is broken into pieces, but it doesn't cause injury to any of the body parts and doesn't cause infection from outside. That is simple fracture. Only the bone breaks. In compound fracture, the bones come out of the muscles. So it's a very critical one. It's very dangerous. The bone is coming outside the muscles. Then in comminuted fracture, the bone will break into 2 or 3 pieces. And in elusive fracture, the small part of the bone is broken from the main bone. And what happens means it will remain suspended. It will hang from the ligaments. So these are the different types of fractures. So what should you do when you see a person having bone fracture? Yes, you have to take him immediately to the hospital, and you should also see that the broken part is not moving, the broken part of the bone. So you have to tie a splint. Splint is a strong support made up of wood, plastic or metal. You have to tie the broken part of the bone along with this splint. You can use it, a ruler, a cardboard or anything. So you tie with the broken part so it helps to block the movements. So how can you take precautions against this bone fracture for not becoming the bone fracture? You have to avoid carelessness in walking, running, jumping. You can avoid hard exercises. You can avoid overeating food. Keep a right posture, body posture, while you walk, while you lay down, while you are sitting. Keep the right body posture. Do not use high heel shoes. Eat more food items which contain calcium. So the another topic we are going to discuss is about the hardness of bones. We know that calcium and phosphorus is very essential for our body, and it is essential for the bones. The hardness of the bone is determined by this calcium phosphate. When you grow on, this calcium and phosphorus will harden the bones. In small children, this calcium phosphate deposition is very less. So there are chances for the bones to break. So how can you harden the bones? Sometimes the calcium is taken from the bones for the body purpose. So include vegetables like hash gourd, snake gourd, fruits like guava, and eat fish, milk and eggs which is rich in calcium, so that your bones will be strong. Similarly, the muscles also should be strong. Weak muscles is no such use. So you can strengthen your muscles by using regular exercises like running, walking, swimming, etc. So this is about today's topic. So today we have discussed about the bone fracture and what are the symptoms of the bone fracture and types of bone fracture and what precautions you have to do to avoid this bone fracture. And we have learned that about the joints and different types of joints. So hope you have understood this. Bye children.